timer started. Here we are. The Stanley Parable. So, I'm going into this episode with a plan of what I can talk about, whether or not I actually end up having enough commentary to just, actually commentate that in the area I'm supposed to be commentating is another question entirely. But I'm at least going in with somewhat of a plan, which is probably better than just going into a video like I am recording a video. So, difficulty curves. It's a thing most games have. The game gets harder as you go. I don't know why I call it curve because, well, maybe it is stumbling over my words here. Sorry, folks. Wish this loading screen would go faster. Maybe I should have begin the game and, gone in. But that would be smart and intelligent and not according to the authentic Osmi Combo experience of me generally not doing this well. This referring to recording a video. So, first example I'm going to talk about, and the only example I actually bothered to think of, this was not wise planning, is a game you may or may not have heard of, and definitely do not take seriously in any regard, Ring Fit Adventure. Yeah. So it has a difficulty curve. Every level says on the outside what level you're supposed to be going into that level. That's a lot of the use of the word level in one sentence. I'm going to say that again. Every
This is the story of a
stage.
man named Stanley.
No. Oh, I hit enter to skip. I didn't click to skip. Oh, I am so
All of
so
his
sorry.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
It
go
could
to the
mean
meeting
that we've
room.
heard this
Perhaps he had
narration
simply missed a
before, and
memo.
I'm talking over you, even though I don't really know what the audio balance is because I haven't watched any of these videos myself. But
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
we
and
did that
Stanley
ending
knew it
last time. We're
perfectly
doing this
well.
ending this time.
Perhaps he wanted to
So,
stop by the employee lounge
that game,
first, just to admire it.
I have had a somewhat interesting experience because I started
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But
below
eager
the
to get back to
difficulty
business,
curve.
Stanley took the
I was
first
playing
open
the
door
game,
on his left.
and I managed to do something I
Stanley
do not
was so
remember
bad
what,
at following
but I
directions, it's
avoided a
incredible
fight
he wasn't
somewhere,
5 years ago.
and thus I was constantly
Look, Stanley, I
one
think perhaps
level
we've gotten off on the
under
wrong
what I
foot
recommended.
here. I'm not your enemy,
Then,
really, I'm not.
I was
realize that
doing
investing
all
in
of
your
the
trust in someone
mini
else can be
things
difficult,
it
but the
had
fact
to
is that the
offer
story has
every
been
single
about
time,
nothing but you
like in
all
every
this
single
time.
world,
There's someone
and
you've been
then
neglecting,
continuing to the
Stanley.
stages
Someone you've
when I
forgotten
could.
about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
Alright, there we go. This is new narration, so I'm gonna stop talking.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on,
can't
sweetie.
move.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your damn day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Well, what if I don't?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
You have to press these to advance the story. There's no other way, which is weird to me.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
It's odd because at some point they present this like you can just not and something will happen, but nothing happens. You're just stuck waiting.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop.
Is that the actual
Here,
time?
watch this.
No.
Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
See, I'm just gonna sit here for a bit. Listen to the rain. It's quite stormy out at the moment. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna post this today. I don't know if I actually have any viewers outside of where I live. I almost name dropped the town I live in. I've probably done that before, in all honesty, but it's quite stormy here. So, comments down below, tell me if you noticed the hail. Because there's a bit of hail mixed in with all this rain, which is odd, because it's been quite warm lately. See, nothing happened. You have to keep pressing the buttons or the story doesn't advance. You could just quit the game. Heck, I bet the game would love that. It's a very meta game. I mean, we've seen the escape ending. They encouraged me to quit there.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Question. What if I hit numpad 8? Do you accept that one? You don't like the numpad 8? Interesting. So I could quit the game, but I'm here for a let's play, not for actual play of the game and having fun with the fact that it's a metagame and stuff like that. Is that how that lamp would really work? Doesn't seem right to me. I have a lamp similarly positioned on my desk. Yeah, okay, question nothing.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Okay, that's that. Do you want to do the red door or the blue door first? I think I'm gonna prefer the blue door first. That one might make for a longer video anyways, and if I start doing something, you're all going to
Stanley
be
had never
invested
seen the
in
office
it,
this
you know?
brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it
Hold on,
was.
is that rain noises in the game? I took my headphones on and off a few times there. There are rain noises in the game. They've stopped now. That was interesting. I wonder what that was about.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
There it is again. Wind. Never heard that before. That's...
This was not
Weird.
the correct way to the meeting room,
I'm
and
not sure how
Stanley
I
knew
feel
it
about
perfectly
that.
well.
Anyways,
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the
now that
employee
we're
lounge
seeing
first,
narration
just to
we've seen
admire
before,
it.
I'm going to resume with what I was
Wow.
talking about.
Yes,
So,
this room.
I
But eager to get
started
back to business,
with
Stanley took
being
the
under
first
the
open
difficulty
door
curve
on
in
his
that
left.
game, and I didn't have any issues because
Stanley
yeah,
was so bad at following
it's
directions, it's
surprisingly
incredible he wasn't
well-constructed
5 years
RPG
ago.
of sorts. There's a tech tree, there's,
Look, Stanley, I think
you know,
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot
enemies,
here.
enemy variants, all
I'm not
that.
your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize
But,
that investing your
yeah.
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but
So,
you
and then eventually
all this
playing all
time.
the mini-games it had to offer.
Really? I was in the middle
Okay,
of something. Do you have
narration, stop
zero
talking.
consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
No.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
That was interesting.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
See, this is some of
You
that
see?
meta stuff I was talking
There's
about.
nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh, right, this version. I don't like this one. Oh. Oh, this ending is quite some more time. This is going to be a long episode.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Now we're going into that baby game he talked about in the previous ending. Yeah, I started.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger.
Yeah,
we're not
doing
the button
this.
to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? But be sure to keep notes on your experience.
You can actually play this for 4 hours and get an ending, but I'm not doing that.
You heartless bastard. Did you do
Wait,
it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Alright, another loading screen. More chance for me to talk about Ring Fit, which apparently is surprisingly something that takes quite long to talk about. And never mind.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining. Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Dang. So then I got ahead of the difficulty curve, and now I'm much ahead of the difficulty curve because I found an exploit where, they reward you for, in the stages outside of fights, you can press N on the ring and shoot a blast of air to, destroy obstacles. But you can just spam that, and they reward you experience even if you don't destroy an obstacle. You can just spam that to get a ton of free experience. By the way, this game isn't...
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Didn't like that. Wait, I want not the radio. Oh. Unlike Shell Portal, Parable Stanley cannot jump.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley.
Red.
Your forte.
Dang it. I'll just solve the puzzle, that's too much effort.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through anymore.
Later, nerd. I'm out of here, punk. And we're back here. No, that's the endless void. Oh, no. I wanted to try and explore as much of that area as possible. Oh, well. Okay, now we're down here. I thought there would be a loading screen there. Interesting. So this is the old version of the game, the original version. I'm not going back to Stanley's place. I'm gonna try and go forward. So that's the hallway. So then it's this way to the meeting room. Door's closed. Okay, fine. Then down this hallway. Should be able to find another closed door. Okay. I'll be honest, this isn't quite going how I wanted it to. I suppose, since we are free of a narrator, I can actually do some commentary for once. Although, he's actually going to start up pretty soon once I get back to Stanley's office. Yeah, see, nothing here. Can't even close that door, what a shame. But, oh, yeah, here we are. Back with the narrator.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Do I need to hit enter? No. Okay. So that was another episode of the Stanley Parable, in which I failed to talk about my experiences with the somewhat failed difficulty curve of Ring Fit Adventure. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and in the comments down below, tell me any general ways I could improve. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more. Ring the bell icon if you're newly subscribed and you want to, get notifications whenever I come out with a new video, which tends to be daily. I even have a backlog of videos that I'm not able to record in a day, like yesterday, actually. So that all being said, I really should set up that end recording hotkey. It's becoming a bit of a running gag at this rate.